This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen Gipp, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news. It's Friday, October 3rd, 2025, and here are today's stories. Insurance bills are climbing fast as floods, fires, and storms grow more intense. So why are companies reporting record profits while families struggle to hold on to their homes? Luxury tourism paints a picture of elegance, private safari lodges, plunge pools, and personal butlers. But in Africa, the story behind the glamour reveals a far more complicated truth. At a community farm in Ireland, a farmer shares his wisdom on sustainable living and organic food, and why supporting local might be the key to a healthier future. And in the same fields, another grower shows how simple natural methods can produce thriving potatoes, proof that sometimes less is really more. Avocados have taken the world by storm thanks to brilliant marketing that has turned them into the ultimate lifestyle food. But behind the creamy green trend are hidden costs that may change how you see them. And in Canada, kids are leaving the classroom behind for lessons outdoors, connecting with nature and animals in ways that spark curiosity and change how they learn. Insurance costs are rising rapidly for homeowners in Australia as floods, fires, and storms become more frequent. While major insurance companies report strong profits due to increasing premiums and insist it's not profiteering, many families are struggling to afford coverage. This leaves homeowners facing a tough choice between paying high premiums or risking financial loss. Every state and territory in Australia has seen home and contents insurance costs rise compared to last year. Insurers base prices on factors such as location, building materials, business costs, inflation, and global reinsurance pressures. Severe weather events like the three major national disasters in New South Wales and Queensland last year cost $1.8 billion in claims, according to the Insurance Council of Australia. To cover these costs and remain profitable, insurers spread the expenses across policyholders, leading to higher premiums for everyone. To top it off, insurance companies are raking in record profits. KPMG's yearly review shows insurers recorded a massive $6.1 billion in 2024. That's 3 times their usual 5-year average. This huge profit boost comes from a few places. A $3 billion jump in investment income also tripled the average, higher premiums, and fewer wild weather events.
Australia is no stranger to wild weather. From cyclones up north to bushfires down south, flash flooding in between, we've seen Mother Nature at its worst. In fact, since the devastating Black Summer bushfires of 2019-2020, there have been 11 declared insurance catastrophes in Australia. Extreme weather is becoming more frequent, and with it comes a stack of insurance claims. Just to grasp the scale, the early 2022 Eastern Australian floods became the country's most expensive insurance disaster ever, with over $6.4 billion worth of damage and more than 245,000 claims lodged. Insurers were just swamped with claims after these floods. Now, Cyclone Alfred is testing the system again in 2025. So how is insurance supposed to work in these situations? In theory, it's simple. You pay your insurance premiums each year, the insurance promises to cover damage from events like cyclones, storms, fires, and then when the disaster strikes, they pay you out so you can rebuild. The insurance industry even has protocols for big disasters. After Cyclone Alfred, the Insurance Council of Australia declared an insurance catastrophe, which meant it's supposed to fast-track help. Insurers prioritise customers, send extra assessors, and coordinate with government agencies. The goal of this is to get claims sorted quickly so people can start putting their lives back together. Unfortunately, this doesn't always work out. When thousands of claims pour in at once, insurance companies face huge costs and logistical nightmares. Some insurers handle this really well, but historically many have fallen short. We've seen reported patterns of underpayment, denial, and delay going back decades.
The Climate Council warns 750,000 properties in Australia are at high risk from natural disasters, with another 1.5 million at moderate risk. A lot of homeowners can't even get insurance, and those who can are seeing their premiums jump by tens of thousands of dollars a year. What's really frustrating is while customers are getting slammed with these huge premium hikes, no one's telling them why. Insurers claim they have fancy models that tell them how to price risk, including age, but they keep this data secret, leaving customers completely in the dark. With housing and living costs already through the roof, people just want to know how insurers are justifying these extra charges. It just doesn't feel fair.
I was shocked. The insurer basically justified the increase by saying that my property is a flood risk, and based on their national modelling and commercial sensitive information, etc., I wasn't entitled to have access to that data. They said I'd consented to pay that increase because I was making automatic bank transactions. So I explained that I had set up the banking transactions because I worked overseas.
It's really impossible for consumer groups or even consumers to know if the price they are being charged is a fair price. The pricing algorithms that insurers use are commercial in confidence. It is a total black box. Most complaints about insurance premiums are not going to make it through AFCA. AFCA says it doesn't have jurisdiction to look at whether or not an insurer has given you an accurate premium.
If you're looking to save on insurance, the Insurance Council of Australia suggests a few tips. Making your home safer might qualify you for cheaper premiums with some insurers. Shop around to find the best deal, and don't hesitate to ask your insurer about discounts or increasing your access to lower costs. Paying annually instead of monthly could also save you some money. When most people think of luxury tourism, they imagine exotic landscapes, private safari lounges, plunge pools, and personal butlers. Africa, with its vast savannas, wildlife, and rich cultural heritage, has become a magnet for high-end travelers. Governments promote it as high value, low impact, a way to boost economies without straining local resources. But the reality is far more complicated. Luxury tourism refers to travel experiences designed for wealthier visitors, often emphasizing exclusivity, comfort, and immersive experiences. On the African continent, this often means all-inclusive safari lodges, boutique hotels, and eco-lodges tucked into wildlife reserves. The promise is tourists will spend more per visit, generating higher revenue for host countries without causing overcrowding or environmental damage. The allure is obvious. Luxury travelers can pay thousands of dollars for a few days of wildlife viewing, gourmet meals, and cultural experiences. While governments promote these dollars will trickle down into the broader economy.
Africa is on the cusp of a boom in luxury tourism, and that's partly driven by a change in sentiment after the pandemic. Now people are traveling for wellness. They also want once-in-a-lifetime and bucket list experiences, and Africa has that in loads and bounds, especially when it comes to encounters with wildlife and conservation. So that's drawing a lot of interest, and at the same time, many of the world's top hoteliers and investors see Africa as one of the last underpenetrated markets for travel and tourism. So that's also stimulating great hotel development across the continent.
Kenyan communities are fighting back against luxury tourism that threatens their land and wildlife. MERC, the Maasai Education, Research, and Conservation Institute, recently filed a lawsuit to stop a new Ritz-Carlton Safari Lodge in the Masai Mara. The $3,500 per night lodge sits on an important wildebeest migration route, and opponents say it could harm the ecosystem. The lawsuit also questions whether a proper environmental review was done, and locals say it reflects a larger pattern of government projects that put tourist profits ahead of the Maasai land and livelihoods. For many, the fight is about protecting wildlife, culture, and community rights, not just one lodge.
If you look at the tourism industry behavior today as we speak, they're still doing the same stuff. They're driving off the road. They are, harassing wildlife, and at the same time, you have community members who have knowledge on how to deal with situations, and they are not being involved at all in this industry, in how tourism is regulated, in how tourism interacts with the community. So all these issues have contributed negatively to the Maasai.
In Tanzania, luxury lodges have led to land grabs of Maasai territory, sparking protests and deadly clashes with police. Across East Africa, these conflicts show the tension between wealthy tourists and local rights and ecosystems. Research from the University of Manchester finds luxury tourism often benefits foreign companies and a small local elite more than nearby communities. All-inclusive lodges keep tourists on site and employ few locals at low wages, while many resorts are foreign-owned and send profits abroad. Luxury tourism often depends on inequality, with profits going to outsiders while locals see little benefit. Travelers can make a difference by choosing locally owned lodges, supporting community-led tours, buying from local artisans, and asking how their visit helps people and wildlife. Mindful spending can turn luxury travel into a force for local communities and conservation.
At Clough Jordan Community Farm, UNN Field Messenger Bob talks with Kevin, who shares his wisdom on sustainable living, organic food production, and how the farm supports the local community.
Hi, this is Bob reporting for UNN from Clough Jordan Community Farm in Ireland. Today I'm interviewing Kevin, who is one of the pillars of the Clough Jordan Community Farm, and he has an ocean of wisdom to share with us, and I just scratched the surface in this brief interview.
So this is our community seed bank, and what we do here is we try to work with the farmers and create landrace varieties so that we can secure our seeds for the future. Working on seeds that will have the genetic ability to constantly change with whatever situation we're in.
So how do you share these seeds with...
Well, we put it up in February before the growing period starts. We send it out with posters. We book posters in all the villages and everything, and we have an open day in the here or in the polytunnel, and we have all the tables out with all the seeds on, and people just come and help themselves, and some of them give us seeds from where they are, and so then we try those out as well, and we'll add those genetics back into our seeds as well. Yeah, we have our own onion variety that we've been growing for about 10 years now. It's just working on that whole thing of epigenetics and trying to bring enough genes in so that we can create a diverse crop to deal genetically with the weather changes that we're having, and also the changes in us as humans as well for the future. The farm itself is a community supported agriculture scheme, which means that anybody can be a member, not just people in the eco village, but in the surrounding area as well. And what we do, we all pay 16 euros a week. We get all of the vegetables that are in season twice a week. Then when we go to the coach house, which is an old coach house which has all the food in it, we choose ourselves. So if there's a box and there's not much of one thing, then you don't take much of that one thing. So rather than telling people, oh, you only have one carrot, we leave it up to them. Community is something you have to constantly work on, I think, is being aware that you need to help and give as much as you want to take yourself. especially when you're working with nature, you realize that giving is something that you can do all the time because it's abundance, whether it's seeds or vegetables or tree cuttings or whatever it is. And we try to do that. And we're at a time in our evolution here anyway, where most people don't know where their food comes from. They're not even interested in growing food, crops and plants anyway. Why would you do that? But they don't understand, because they don't know about the diversity, that the differences in food. So you can have one tomato that just tastes like sugar, and then you can have another tomato that just tastes like tomato, and they won't get that at the supermarket.
Thank you so much, Kevin, and blessings on your onward journey with nature.
Thank you. Take care.
You're welcome.
Salam.
Yeah. So long. This is Bob signing off for United Network News. And if it's going to be, it's up to me.
Tired before the day begins? NAD Plus levels drop 50% after 40. NAD Plus helps your cells bounce back fast. Most supplements give precursors. NAD Plus skips the breakdown, delivering direct, bioavailable power. Support your energy, metabolism, sleep, and stress levels at the cellular level. Join the NAD Plus revolution. Start your journey to a healthier you. Subscribe today.
Hi everyone, this is Leanne.
And I'm Jerry.
Coming to you from Tamworth, New South Wales.
Hi there, this is Rick from Arizona.
My name is Uchechukwu Obeneba from Igbo tribe, Nigeria.
Hi, this is Scott from Utah.
I'm Annette from Agassiz, British Columbia.
Hi, I'm Marcus Sulzet from Manipur State, India.
Real people reporting real stories from all around the world. That's what United Network News is all about.
Can you clap?
We had a huge flood, which some call the flood of the century.
No fake news here. Our field messengers share personal experiences of what's really happening in their community.
We got some nice fish right here.
At UNN, you are the news.
My family and I had a very good time.
Take the next step. Become a UNN field messenger and share the real news with the world.
In the Northwest Province of South Africa, I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News, and if it's going to be, it's up to me.
It's going to be, it's up to me. If it is going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to us. Field Messages, United Network News. See you next time.
Inspired by a Japanese natural farming pioneer, UNN Field Messenger Helen grows potatoes in harmony with the land, showing how crops can thrive with minimal intervention.
This is Field Messenger Helen reporting with nature for United Network News, and I'm going to show you some natural farming. Here I've got some potatoes that were just being given away free at a market. It was like nearly a full bag, and inspired by Masanobu Fukuoka, a Japanese farmer who for many years experimented with natural farming, where it's a do-nothing farming. So I've just cut down, I'm leaving the rest of the long grass, and I've just cut down, there's the offcuts, the grass, and I am using a tool. Generally you don't use tools, but I'm using this just to dig a hole to put the spuds in. There's my little hole, and the smaller potatoes I leave whole. The bigger ones like this, I've got a knife with me and I'll just cut. So I've got some shoots on both halves and put those in the ground. Potatoes in, just putting a little bit of wet pea straw, and then I'll just crumble up this soil, put any lovely worms back in the hole that I found. Now all the potatoes are in. It's just a patch about 1 metre by 3 metres. I walked around and found white clover flowers. See how they're turned down? They're pollinated, they're producing seeds. So I'll sprinkle these over the ground. The clover is one of Masanobu's real successes because that will come up first instead of the weeds. And now I'm taking the cut grass and just making sure I sprinkle it all messy. And it's important that it's not cut up, it's long, and I put it on like really messy, and I'd imagine that then there's like airspace, it doesn't rot, but it'll really keep the ground moist and stop the birds eating the clover seeds or bothering the potatoes as they come up. Yeah, it's all thoroughly covered over now and still looks fairly natural, except obviously the grass is lying down. Come on, Happy. We'll come back and check the potatoes another day. I've got 2 other potato beds as comparison. This is in my herb garden, but it's struggling because these big trees suck all the water. And these ones in my raised wicking bed, and I'm going to keep packing this straw up so that the potatoes throw more potatoes off their stalks. So I've got 2 comparisons. Thank you. Maybe you'll look up Masanobu Fukuoka and experiment with natural farming. He said, really, we all need to be natural farmers and natural livers. Thank you. Bye.
Avocados have become a global obsession thanks to brilliant marketing that made them a symbol of health and lifestyle. They've secured a place in everything from smoothies to brunch menus. But behind the creamy green exterior lies a host of issues that might make you think twice before reaching for your next avocado. Let's start with the global demand. While fueling the avocado craze, it's also causing some serious problems, especially in places like Chile and Mexico. Massive avocado farming is draining water from areas already struggling with scarcity, leaving local communities dry while huge farms thrive. And it doesn't stop there. Forests are being cleared to make way for plantations, wiping out biodiversity and disrupting the planet's natural balance. In Mexico, illegal deforestation is rampant, devastating ecosystems for the sake of quick profits. Monoculture farming also damages soil health and makes crops more vulnerable to pests and diseases. The human impact is just as bad. Local economies depend on a single export. So if prices drop or crops fail, entire regions suffer. Wealthy corporations rake in profits, while many locals work long hours for low wages and struggle to afford basic essentials. In Mexico, organized crime has even taken control in some areas, extorting farmers and spreading violence. What seems like a healthy choice at the grocery store might actually be harming nature, even in California, where most U.S. avocados come from.
The average organic avocado farm in Central California is going to kill around 19,000 ground squirrels a year. That's not counting the billions of bees, because they're going to bring the bees up from Brazil to pollinate the trees, and then they're going to die. They're not sending them back anywhere. They're not keeping them. They're gone. They're going to spray the trees. They're going to kill every bug, every plant, everything. You won't see any birds. You won't see anything else. They killed them all.
And if all these weren't enough, do you think the avocados at the store or that fancy avocado oil are drama-free? Instead of natural ripening, many avocados are gassed with ethylene in sealed rooms. This makes them look perfect on the outside, but they're not really ready inside. It speeds up softening but robs the fruit of its natural flavor and nutrients. That's why you might get a bland, watery avocado, even if it looks flawless. Then there's the risk of buying fake avocado oil. Research shows many popular brands, both refined and unrefined, are already oxidized when they hit the shelf. This means the oil has lost its benefits and may even be harmful. Even worse, many pure avocado oils are cut up with up to 80% cheaper oils.
There is no official U.S. rules on these things. In other words, olive oil has an international definition of what extra virgin means, but not with avocado oil. There's no legal binding definition of the way that they're supposed to process these things. This has opened up the door for a lot of corruption. There's all sorts of scams going on, trying to dilute avocado oil with other oils, but on the label, you can't tell the difference. What was really shocking in this research study, there were some products that had 0 avocado oil in them. Instead, there was soybean oil, canola oil, despite the labeling of pure. Don't worry, it gets worse. Country of origin. It's probably grown in California and they just process it there and they ship it to me, right? If it says a product of the U.S., it can be grown in China, blended in Mexico, but it's bottled in the U.S. This makes it a product of the U.S. Unfortunately, the regulations, the enforcement is just not there for avocado oil. And then we get to the expiration date. There is no law that you have to have an expiration date on these bottles. But I will point out one thing about avocado oil is you want to get it in the dark bottles in glass, not clear plastic, because light can also oxidize the oil.
So where does that leave us? On one hand, we've got the massive environmental toll of industrial farming and an industry that often puts profits way ahead of nutrition. On the other hand, research consistently shows avocados offer undeniable health benefits, improved digestion, better gut health, and even potential cancer-fighting properties. They're packed with fiber, healthy fats, and essential vitamins. Plus, studies even suggest that avocado byproducts can be safely used in dog food.
The main thing here is just to be aware. Knowing where your food comes from helps you make smarter choices. Look for certifications like Fair Trade or Rainforest Alliance to support producers who are doing things ethically. Maybe try cutting back a bit on avocados and explore other healthy fats like nuts, seeds, and olive oil. You got to watch that one too. Even small conscious choices can help push the food industry toward a more sustainable future.
In New Brunswick, Canada, an educational program motivates children to extend their learning by exploring outdoors and interacting with animals. UNN Field Messenger Isabel shares how this program works.
Hi, I'm Isabel, Field Messenger with United Network News. I'm in Kapiti, New Brunswick, Canada, and I'm inspired to show you how I'm helping restore the planet with my community.
With the help of like-minded friends, we created a farm and forest program where kids can learn how to care for animals and reconnect to nature. I am a homeschooling mother that works on a farm. My passion is taking care of animals and sharing my knowledge with others. We spend the first part of our morning doing barn chores, which include giving fresh water and food to the animals and cleaning up. Brushing a llama is a great bonding experience for the kids and the llama. The kids learn how to properly and calmly approach a llama or an alpaca to place their halter. We finish our day having lunch in the woods while playing.
Are you ready to change the world? Take the next step and join our weekly Field Messenger meetings. Learn more at unitednetwork.earth. I am United Network News, and so are you.